Contracts-1 revised. General principles. Wagering agreement and contingent contracts is a topic for discussion today. Dear friends, please note that unless it is specifically mentioned in Telugu language, all lectures are deemed to be in English. When the particular lecture is repeated again, I am mentioning specifically revised. Revised in the sense like that lecture will be in English medium duly improved. Now, today I wish to take up one of the important topics from Contracts-1, that is wagering agreement and contingent contracts is the topic. This wagering agreement I had already covered in legality of object or lawful object topic under section 30 in brief. In this lecture, I will have to explain in detail about this wagering agreement and contingent contract. Casually speaking, wagering agreement or wagering contract, contingent agreement or contingent contract are almost identical, but in this caption the term wagering agreement is used and contingent contract is used in this sense. The status of contract is more than the status of agreement. Agreement may be valid and enforceable, or agreement may be invalid and unenforceable. Only valid agreements will be enforceable. Those valid agreements which are enforceable will be termed as contracts. To constitute an agreement, offer and acceptance would be enough, and this agreement to be valid and enforceable, the conditions under section 10 of the Indian Contract Act, namely free consent, capacity of parties, legality of object, etc., are to be satisfied. Lawful consideration, etc., are to be satisfied. That is why wagering agreement basically is a void agreement. Under certain exceptional cases, wagering agreement will be valid. Then the wagering agreement will be called as wagering contract. Similarly, contingent contract is basically a valid contract, and in certain exceptional cases, the contingent contract may be rendered invalid. Then it also may be termed as wagering a contingent agreement. So, wagering agreement is basically void or invalid. Sometimes subject to in exceptional cases, the wagering agreement may be valid. Then that wagering agreement will be termed as wagering contract. Basically, contingent contract is a valid contract and is enforceable at all times. In view of certain exceptional cases, this wagering contingent contract may be turned into void contract. In this sense, then it is termed as contingent agreement. So now in this lecture, I wish to take up wagering agreement meaning, definition, elements of wagering agreement, exceptions, wagering agreement and insurance contract, differences between wagering agreement and insurance contract. Next, second topic is contingent contract meaning, definition, elements, kinds and circumstances under which the contingent contracts are enforceable and non-enforceable, and the distinction between contingent contract and wagering contract or wagering agreement are the topics for discussion today. For primarily speaking, wagering section 30 of the Indian Contract Act lays down the provisions relating to wagering agreement, while section 31 to 36 under chapter 3 of the Indian Contract Act lays down various provisions relating to contingent contract. So I wish to take up what is this wagering agreement, when it becomes a wagering contract and enforceable, what is a contingent contract, when it will be rendered unenforceable as wagering contingent agreement, with meaning, definition, essential elements, exceptional cases, distinction between wagering agreement and insurance contract. Similarly, distinction between wagering contract and contingent contract are the topics for discussion today. Before make a beginning of this lecture, dear friends, with your kind permission, let me take just half minute to pay homage to pray God, pay homage to my reverend parents, late Rega Aprov, late Srimati Kandaratnam, and my wife, Mrs. Balivada Rega Tirumala Gauri. I express my gratitude to all my godfathers who are instrumental for what I am now. I express my heartfelt thanks to the authors of textbooks, publishers of authors of articles and research papers published in internet, whose works I am making use for bringing out this lecture before you. Finally, it is my duty to express my deep sense of gratitude to my student friends who are instrumental for what I am now. Now, coming to the topic, wagering contract, wagering agreement, wagering agreement. The term wager means bet. The term wager means bet. Wager means bet. It is a process. It is a process in which there are equal chances of. It is a process or an activity in which there are equal chances of win and defeat, or gain and loss. So, wagering contract is a bet, or a wagering agreement is a bet or betting agreement which cannot be allowed by the state in the interests of public welfare. That is why it is declared to be an activity opposed to public policy, and it was included in legality of object or lawful object chapter. Any agreement which is entered into which opposes public policy, the object of the agreement is illegal or immoral, such agreement is void. That is section 30. I explained in brief in legality of object previous lecture, and I have to explain this wagering agreement in detail in this lecture. So the term wager means bet. In a practical life we are seeing, and cricket matches, when cricket match is going on, India versus Pakistan or India versus England, like this, so many people may go for betting. Similarly, when election, keen contest takes place in by-election, or keen contest takes place in elections, legislative assembly elections or parliament Lok Sabha elections, the people may bet, they resort to betting whether a political party A will come to power or political party B will come to power. And similarly, there are so many similar bettings, cricket betting, political parties betting, like this. So such bettings are, such bettings are not healthy for the welfare of the people. That is why the state, the government prohibits betting activities or betting agreements or bets. So that is why wagering agreement is opposed to public policy, and it affects the welfare of the people, and hence wagering agreement or betting agreement or bets are opposed to public policy, and hence wagering agreement is void. Void means there is no agreement at all. Basically, though such agreement is entered, as if there was no agreement, neither of the party can approach the court. So the wagering agreement is void. According to section 30 of the according to section 30 of the Indian Contract Act, which speaks about wagering agreements are void, invalid, unenforceable. However, Section 30 of the Indian Contract Act did not define the term wagering agreement. However, certain attempts were made to define this concept. Sir William Anson, a reputed jurist, defined the term wager. The term wager. The term wager was defined by Sir William Anson. He is the author of law of textbooks, law of contracts textbook. He is the most important author of the textbook, law of contract, Anson's textbook. So he defined Sir William Anson defined agreement wager as a promise to give money or money's worth upon the determination or ascertainment of a particular uncertain event. According to Sir William Anson, the term wager or bet is an agreement in which two parties promise each other to pay certain sum of money or money's worth upon the determination or ascertainment of a particular event. So this is happening of the event is certain. When the event happen, how this happened events is uncertain. So that is what it is. Just commonly I said, a cricket match, India will win or Pakistan will win. India will win or England will win. Political party A will come to power or political party B will come to power. In by-election, that party candidate will win the election, or this party candidate will win the election. So this is nothing but for this purpose a promise to give money or money's worth upon the happening of some event, uncertain event. Happening of the event is certain. How it happens, when it happens will be uncertain. So in this case, both the parties either win or lose. Both the parties either they will gain money or they lose money or money's worth. In sometimes the betting may be not only money, they will land to land, houses they put, and kettle they put as bet, and so many things are there. Either money can be pledged as for bet, or property can be pledged as bet. This is what is called is just like a type of gambling. So that the nature of a wagering agreement was elaborately explained by Hawkins J. in Carlisle vs. Carbolic Smokeball Company Limited. This topic we studied in general offer in offer and acceptance chapter. According to Hawkins J., a wagering contract is in one, two, the parties to the agreement profess two opposite views as to happening of some uncertain event. If the event happens, one party will win, other party will lose. If the event doesn't happen, the one party will win, other party will win. The chances of win or loss will be one side. Both the parties will have the equal chances of win and loss. It is just like an alienatory contract, an alienatory agreement. It is an alienatory agreement. The term alienatory is a point, an alienating point is one in which there are equal chances of gain and loss. This is the meaning. So the wagering contract is according to Hawkins J. in Carlisle vs. Carbolic Smokeball Company elaborately explained the term wager as a wagering contract is one by which two parties professing to hold opposite views. So, say a party X comes to power, party B comes to power, touching the issue of future uncertain event. That future uncertain event means after election is over, polling counting is over, the election officer will declare. Similarly, the umpire or some authority, cricket authorities will decide which team has won, like this. Mutually agreed. Both the parties agree whether this happens or that happens, it will be binding on them. Mutually agreed. Dependent upon the determination of the event. Determination of the event means the person, the authority which is conducting the cricket match will decide this. Or similarly, the polling official, polling returning officer and concerned authority will, chief election commissioner will decide the determine the position in the event. One shall at that time one shall win from the other a sum of money, neither of the contracting parties having any other interest. So this in the event, if the event declared, neither of the parties do not have any personal interest. The betting people don't have any personal interest. The contesting candidate will have interest. The cricket players will have interest. The persons who resort to betting do not have any interest. Their interest is not natural. The interest is created. Such interest is called insurable interest. The parties who are going for betting, they do not have any insurable interest in that particular cricket match. Whether India wins or Pakistan win, they do not have any direct insurable interest except national integrity. Suppose people who have national integrity, they will pray God that India should win. But so far as this agreement is concerned, the parties who are betting do not have any interest. Naturally, that interest is created. This point I will explain in detail in comparative study. And this is the position. Sir William Anson has defined the term wager. This term was elaborately explained by Hawkins J. in a leading case, Carlisle vs. Carbolic Smoke Ball Company Limited, like this. So this is the position with reference to this. So according to section 30 of the Wagering section 30 of Indian Contract Act 1872, wagering agreement is void. Wagering agreement is void or enforceable. It cannot be challenged before the law. Essential elements to constitute the term wager. To constitute wagering agreement, some conditions are to be satisfied. First condition is opposite views. The parties to wagering agreement must profess opposite views. Same view cannot be there. In bet, X say that political party A will win. Y says that political party B will win. Such expression of opinion is called professing opposite views. That is first condition. Second condition, gain and loss. If after when they profess opposite views, whose view is fructified, whose view will be whose view will be declared right, then only then if the happening of that event, one person will win, one person will lose. One will win, other will defeat. One will get in profit, other will get loss. One will get gain, other will get loss. That is second point. Third point is so the parties have no other interest except win or loss. So the parties do not have any insurable interest except gain or loss. So if they go for betting, they pray God that this India team should we should win, or political party A will win. He will have interest. He has only one interest, that is to either win the game, to win the bet only. That is they do not have any insurable interest. What is that insurable interest? I will tell you at the time of comparison between wagering contract and insurance contract. Now coming to the So wagering contract is a contract. Wagering agreement is an agreement which is opposed to public policy and it is not valid and enforceable. That is why wagering agreements are void according to section 30. But however, there is an exception to this rule. In certain cases, wagering agreements are valid. Wagering agreements are valid and enforceable. When wagering agreements are valid and enforceable, then we call wagering contract. Wagering contract. An exception is given to horse races. In horse races also there is a betting, but the horse races are provided an exception by license. What do you mean by license? Any illegal activity can be made legal by providing license. Suppose consumption of providing consumption of alcoholic drinks, wine shops and these bars, they are basically illegal, not valid, but the government gives license. License is a process which makes illegal activity legal. Similarly, in India, prostitution is illegal. In some countries, prostitution is illegal. Like that. So, if by the process of license is an instrument that makes illegal activity legal. Similarly, no one should enter into our home. If anybody enters into our home, we can institute civil action under law of torts and criminal action under criminal law, that is trespass to land. Suppose without permission, any delivery man can come and deliver a gas cylinder in kitchen room. We can allow him, or any other electrician or telephone repairman or as AC repairman, fridge repair purpose, he may enter into the home with the permission of the house owner or landlord. That allowing that person, giving consent to entry is called license. So otherwise, if he enters unauthorizedly, he is subject to civil and criminal liability. That is why if any authority of the government, authority of the state, or any authority under the permission, under the delegated authority of state government provides an opportunity to conduct any bettings, everything, then it is legal, an exception is given. But that exception to horse races or any other exception is subject to section 294 of the section 294A of the Indian Penal Code. Suppose anybody conducts this lottery activity or betting activity or horse races or anything without the permission of state government or any authority, with the permission of state, with the delegated authority of state government, conducts these betting activities, they are punishable. Suppose lottery tickets is prohibited by states, it is in practice in some states. Few states are running the lottery tickets. Earlier, almost every states were conducting lottery ticket, lottery, but government was getting lot of income. But so many families were spoiling, put into streets because of these lottery tickets. But I heard that in some Tamil Nadu, some people whole salary, after drawing salary in factory, he straight away goes to lottery tickets vendor, purchases lottery tickets with whole salary and reaches home with empty hand, and his wife and children started crying out of starvation. So such serious complications took place. Even for this consumption of alcoholic drinks also, even today, so many families are pushed into streets because the family had spent all his earnings for consumption of alcoholic drinks without thinking about livelihood of the wife and children. This is the thing is there. But this consumption of alcoholic drinks could not be banned by some states due to some practical problems. But whereas the lottery system was abandoned by so many states, so that is why the exception. So there is a relevant case on this wagering, there are two relevant cases on these wagering agreements. One is, this is in strict, the wagering agreement should be, there should be win and loss. Both parties must have chances of gain and loss. So it should not, here, Dayabai versus Lakshmi Chand, 1885 case. In this case, Birdwood judge, he decided this case. Suppose if only one party has the chances of gain and loss, other party do not have it. So the process of gain, the process of benefit lies with only one party. It cannot be termed as bet. So here, in some village goddess festivals or some gatherings, public functions, some gambling counters will be there. Suppose you put your money in that particular picture, you will get 10 rupees to 20 rupees, or 10 rupees to, or some wheel is there. There are so many pictures on the wheel, and he will pushes the wheel, and ultimately that wheel stops at a particular picture. If that picture, the person who has put money at that particular picture, he will get money for 10 times. 10 rupees, 100 rupees, like this. The person who is moving the wheel, he has a knowledge, he has a skill that where that particular wheel has to be stopped, and on that he applies force, pressure with his full knowledge, and he thinks that this should stop at horse, it will stop at horse. If the wheel should stop at line, it will stop at line. Where this wheel is going to be stopped will be read. In some movies who say, in under that wheel there will be some man. So then, depending on the situation, as per the instruction, that man will apply some force in under the, from underground, and will see that this wheel should be stopped at a particular point. Like that, when the question of bet to constitute wagering agreement, it should be the process of gain or loss must relate to both the parties. If one party is having the chance of gain and loss, he has always the chance of gain. There is no option for the other party for gain. That contract, that agreement can never be termed as wagering agreement, is what Justice Blackbird decided in Dayabai versus Lakshmi Chand. This case was decided in 1885. There is one more case. So, to constitute wager, there must be equal chances of gain and loss. Both the parties should have chances of gain and loss. Only in the earlier case, the chances of gain lies with one party, but the chance of gain and loss must be within the hands of both the parties. This view was laid down by Chief Justice Jenkins in a leading case, Sesson versus Tocqueville. Sesson versus Tocqueville. In this case, Chief Justice Jenkins said that in a contract, in an agreement of wager, both the parties, both the betting party must be at for such a stand, must be in a same footing, that both will have chances of gain and loss. So first case tells that the only gain, one party should not have gain all times. If one party has gain possibility of gain at all times, it is not a wager. In second case, if gain and loss must be in the hands of both the parties, then only it constitutes wager. These are the two cases with reference to the contract of agreement of wager and case law. No exception. Exception, horse races and some other matters. If the state government gives permission or any authority under the show provision of state government gives license, then it can be, the exception can be provided. In such cases, wagering agreement will become wagering agreement will become wagering contract and enforceable. But even horse races are provided exemption. That horse race issue also is subject to section 294 Indian Penal Code, which provides punishment. If there is an illegal activity is there, it prescribes punishment up to 6 months fine and etc. That is there. Now, another thing is in an exception, there is one case. Muthuswamy Pillai versus Veeraswamy Pillai. This is 1939 case. In this case, what happened was, under exception, horse races are given exception. The horse races can be conducted and bettings can be done in respect of horse races, but it is subject to section 294A Indian Penal Code, which prescribes punishment to the parties, to the violators. And now, in this case, what happened? Muthuswamy Pillai versus Veeraswamy Pillai. Here, plaintiff and defendant jointly purchased a ticket of horse race, and the ticket is with defendant. After some time, the horse in which they purchased ticket, in which favor they purchased ticket, has won, and defendant received money from the horse race authorities. But the agreement at the time of purchasing ticket, plaintiff and defendant invested 50% jointly purchased. If they get the prize money should be distributed equally between both the persons. But defendant received the prize money but did not give 50% to plaintiff. Plaintiff filed a case against the defendant, but the court said that it is not proper to deny, and it comes under an exception, and also the principle of morality can be applied. The judge can apply his discretionary power and deliver judgment in favor of the plaintiff. The court directed the defendant to pay half of the prize money to the plaintiff. Plaintiff in this case has won the case. So the wagering, the contract of wager is over, and insurance contract, difference between wagering contract and insurance contract is the topic for discussion next. Wagering agreement and insurance contract. Wagering agreement is void, that is why it is called wagering agreement. Insurance contract is valid. Insurance contract is valid, that is why it is called as insurance contract. What is wagering agreement? What is insurance contract? What are the differences? Now, coming to the Section 30 Indian Contract Act lays down various provisions relating to wagering agreements, and whereas insurance contract, there are so many insurance contracts are there. Life insurance contract is there, marine insurance contracts is there, property insurance contracts are there, so many inland transit insurance. For every insurance there are respective insurance contracts are there. You will study this various legislations in law of insurance in final year as main subject or elective subject. So for section 30 Indian Contract Act 1872 lays down provisions relating to this wagering agreement, whereas there are various legislations that lay down various provisions relating to life insurance, fire insurance, marine insurance and other insurances. That is this. So wagering agreements are void. Betting agreements are void. Basically, if there is an exception provided by the government, then they may be valid. But normally, wagering agreement is void or invalid. But insurance contracts are valid. Fire insurance contract, marine insurance contract, and these they are valid. So here, life insurance contract can be issued. Life insurance policy can be issued for any number of years, subject to age limit of 70 years of a person who insures, and even more than 70 years can be allowed by certain company. Whereas non-life insurance, the period may be 1 year. It can be renewed from year to year. If car insurance, property insurance, goods insurance, or any other medical insurance, all these insurances are taken for 1 year only. Premium should be paid every year. The contract completes in a maximum period of 1 year. The period of insurance may be less than 1 year. But in case of life insurance, the period can be extended, taken for the period of insurance policy can be taken for any number of year subject to age limit. Suppose 30-year-old man can take life policy for 40 years. Here, in certain cases, life insurance policy also is treated as property insurance. Suppose when goods are transported from place to another, from Bombay to Calcutta, that goods may be insured until and unless the goods must reach safely. If the goods are destroyed, the owner of the goods will get the claim. So here, in life insurance, if a policy is taken for 30 years or 40 years, subject to age limit is 70 years or even above, as per for rules of insurance company, if one premium is paid, 1 month premium is paid, next month insurance insured person dies, the company will pay the whole amount. Suppose he takes life policy for 5 lakhs, he pays 1 or 2 premiums of 5,000 or 10,000. In second month or third month he dies, the insurance company will pay all the 5 lakhs. That is the position. If the person survives till 70 years, that is completion of the policy, he will get some nominal amount. Suppose he pays, so that is why property insurance means if contingency take place, the money will be paid. In medical insurance also, in 1 year, the person is hospitalized and any medical bill, medical insurance company will pay. If the person is healthy, the amount paid by the insured will become profit to the company. So that is why here insurance contracts are valid contract and wagering agreements are void agreements. In wagering agreements, there is no insurable interest. In insurable interest, insurance contract, insurable interest is most essential condition to issue insurance policy. Insurable interest means desire to preserve the subject matter for a long time. So, if a person can take life policy with a strong desire that he must live long, but he should not, okay, I take life policy for 1 crore today, tomorrow I will take poison and die, and the insurance company will pay 1 crore to my policy, to my family, should not think. So if he does so, it is called suicide. He is not a claim. If it is proved that intentionally he committed suicide, the claim can be denied by the insurance company. So while making payment, insurance companies will put so many questions, innumerable number of questions, whether it is a clue to avoid the payment. But while issuing policy, they don't ask anything directly in empty papers. The insurance agents will get the paper signed by the insured and insist him to pay the first premium. So this is the position. So now insurable interest in betting contract, insurable interest is not there. So the interest is created by the parties. Interest is created in a cricket match or political party match, win or loss, that insurable interest they are having. The cricket players are having, the respective country will have the insurable interest. But the betting people do not have any interest. Their interest is up to betting money only. Betting money only. Suppose this team wins or that team wins, they don't mind. Oh, whether he wins or not, I put 1 lakh bet. Which team I put bet, that team should win. It is only, he has to get the gain of 1 lakh is the only interest of the parties in wagering agreement, whereas it is not there. Insurable interest is natural. Whether a person takes life policy or fire policy or anything, that insurable interest will be there. Whether insured, but because of the reason that I have taken medical policy, I should get cancer, I should get any disease, nobody will think. because of the reason that I got the material insured, it should be destroyed on the way. No owner will think it off. No owner will think it off. So that insurable interest will be there, whether it is insured or not, whether the subject matter is insured or not. The person who takes 1 crore policy also wants to live long, and the person who doesn't have any life policy also likes to live long. This is the position. And next one is risk. Risk. And the risk here in a wagering agreement, risk is created by the parties. Risk means every human being will have the risk of life risk. Anytime one may die. Anytime one may die. That is what is called risk. Whether in a wagering contract, the risk is created by the parties. Risk is created by party. Whether India will win or England will win, if you don't mind and sleep at home, there is you are no way concerned. There is no risk for you. Whether India wins or sometimes India will win, sometimes England will win, sometimes Pakistan will, like this. So if you do bet, then you pray God that our India should win or England should win, like that. You pray God. So that risk is created. Risk is created. A person who goes to gambling is creating the risk. The person who doesn't have gambling habit, he need not have any risk. He need not have any risk. So here another thing is that risk is inevitable or invariable in insurance contract. Whether policy is taken, life policy, fire policy, marine policy, property insurance, medical insurance, whatsoever, whether that risk is natural, whether policy is there, policy is not there. There is no guarantee that who takes medical policy will get disease. There is no guarantee that who doesn't have medical policy will not get the disease. A person who doesn't have medical policy may get disease, or the person who has taken medical policy may not get any disease. So here the risk is created by parties in wagering agreement. Risk is natural in insurance company. Now last difference is wagering agreements affects the parties. Suppose who go for betting, it will affect the parties, because there are person who put all the money in bets became bankrupts and pushed into streets. Families pushed into streets. At the same time, there are also some persons in gambling. They earned a lot of money, constructed big buildings also. In gambling, some people betting and all, some people may win money, gain money. Some people become bankrupts. That also is there. That is why these wagering agreements have great influence on the family welfare of the parties. So, but here this insurance contract do not have any effect on the parties. They will protect the interest of the parties. They protect the interest of the party. If a person takes life in any medical policy, if any operation, major operation, heart operation or kidney operation, if 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs expenditure is there, a few thousands he pays premium, but that 5 to 10 lakhs will be indemnified by the insurance company, insurance medical line company. This is the position. Here, the protection. So insurance contracts protect the parties. Wagering agreements adversely affect the interest of the parties. So with this insurance contract, wagering agreement, wagering contract is over. And now next topic is contingent agreement or contingent contract. Contingent agreement or contingent contract means contingency means something uncertain takes place. Suppose contingency. What is the contingency? Suppose a middle class man is there. He gets salary of some 20,000 or 25,000. Out of the 1,000, house rent is this month, provisions is this month, milk this month, like this. Expenses will be there. Sometimes in 1 month, children school fee should be paid. That is contingency. In one month, some daughter's marriage or some function takes place. That is contingent expenses. So some normal expenses will be there every month, but in certain months some extraordinary expenses also take place. Sometimes somebody is sick, hospitalized, heavy amount is to be paid. Such things are called contingencies, contingent expenses. Contingent expenses. Contingent contract is that contract that contingency is something related to possible future uncertain event. Contingency means something related to possible uncertain event. So every month goes on well normally. If anything wrong takes place, anything is a contingency. Every day going to school and coming to school, one day small accident, leg fracture, that is contingency. It may be good or it may be bad. So a happening of some uncertain event. In insurance, in wagering agreement, at the time of contract, it is certain. Something will happen. It is certain. At the time of conclusion of the contract, when it will happen, how it will happen, how this side it will happen or that side it will happen is uncertain. It's certain at the time of agreement, uncertain at the time of conclusion is wagering agreement. In contingent contract, at the time of agreement is uncertain, at the time of happening also uncertain, double uncertain, still the contract is declared valid contract. That is why contingent contracts are valid contract. For example, I give you some practical example of contingent contract. A tells B to marry C. If you marry C, I will give you 1 lakh. I will give you 1 lakh, or I will give you my property. That is contingency. If B marries C, A will give the money or property. Similarly, an old man tells his daughter's son, if you marry daughter's son, if you marry my son's daughter, I will give you that property. Otherwise, I don't. That is at the time of contract, whether he will marry or not is uncertain, and at the time of marries or doesn't marry also is uncertain. If he marries and take money or doesn't marry and does not take money is uncertain, because at the time of long back, this girl or that boy may not like each other. Either of them may fall in love with some other, or both may fall in love with some other. There is a double uncertainty. So similarly, A gives some property to B. A gives some property to B. So take this property. In case at the time of your death, if you have any legal heir like your son or daughter, you give it to your legal heir. If you don't have any issues, you don't have any children, give this property to your younger brother or elder brother. That contract also is a contingent contract. That contract also is a contingent contract. So similarly, a person may write will in favor of his legal heirs, wife and children. After my death, my property goes to my wife 1 share, and to son 1 share, daughter 1 share. 3 wife, son, daughter, 3 will get equal share. He writes will. So in this connection, I want to tell you that there is no wrong to write will by anybody, irrespective of age, who is having property in his name. Because if will is not written, in case person dies, the legal heirs will have to face some problems to go to courts. For some places, legal heir may be issued by local tahsildar, and in some cases, other state or everything, some of application is to be filed in court, and they have to attend the court as and when required. They have to pay auction fees, public auction fees, and court fees, lawyer fees. We were visiting court several times. Lot of troubles and expenses will be there. So if any will is written by the person who is having property, that will in some 150 rupees per stamp paper or 100 rupees stamp paper it is written, and it is made by some expert, and signed by 2 witnesses, it is enough. It need not even be registered. Then for legal hear purpose, one should not be approach the court to get legal hear certificate or succession certificate and all. So to avoid the conflict, at the same time, I suggest my student friends, whoever is having bank accounts, the nominee's name should be mentioned. So many student, so many account holders are not mentioning nominee's name. In case one dies, the person legal here will have to face some problems. The bank will not give, and the bank will insist the parties to fulfill some documents. Document 200 rupees stamp, 500 rupees stamp, like that. So many things they may issue, or legal here certificate, something depending upon the volume of the property. That is the reason why there are several cases, so many cases in all financial organizations like Employees Provident Fund Organization, Life Insurance of Corporation of India, General Insurance Corporation, and so many banks, particularly banks. The unclaimed amounts are huge. They are expected to be in lakhs of crores. Individual financial institution will have thousands of crores, because of the reason the deceased person did not mention nominee, and no nominee will claim. One person puts money, wife puts money in bank or financial organization, husband doesn't know, husband puts money, wife doesn't know. Sometimes they put money, they do not maintain any record, and practically I am telling, our generation's people are taking each and every account. So for example, when I take something, I will take complete record and everything. My children do not take that much interest. So the present generations do not take much care. So our generations, we faced problem. We take everything clear. But persons like us also, if we did not mention nominee's name, if we do not write will, my wife who did not write any will, some little property in her name, to get it transferred to my children, we have to save many problems. That is why I suggest the persons, irrespective of age, who are having properties, better every parent in whose name property is there, it is better write a will with very simple expenditure, it's a very simple process. If anything goes wrong, that don't think that will must be written before death only, like this. So it is not. If you don't do it, anything goes, problems will take place. The property cannot be recovered from banks or financial institutions, and the property may go to bank or other financial institution or government. So this is for your practical experience. Now contingency means something related to possible future and uncertain event. So contingent contract is nothing but is also known as conditional contract. So grandfather tells grandson to I will give you property if you marry my granddaughter. That is the contingency. So like this, some condition may be put. If the condition is fulfilled, then the contract is enforceable. If the condition is not fulfilled, the contract is not enforceable. Suppose the grandson doesn't marry granddaughter without marrying granddaughter, if he files a case, it cannot be fulfilled. So that is why section 30, chapter 3 containing section 31 to 36 of Indian Contract Act lays down various provisions relating to contingent contract. Section 31 definition, section 32 speaks about enforceability of the contingent contract. Whatever condition is insisted in the contract, if the condition happens, the contract will be valid. Sometimes the parties may put condition that such an event should not take place. Suppose bankruptcy should not take place, death should not take place, like that. Happening, if the event happens, the contract is enforceable under section 33. If the event of contingency does not happen, the contract will be valid. Suppose the contingency is impossible. any contract, any activity which is impossible impossible is in void or invalid under section 56 of the Indian Contract Act. Suppose A enters into an agreement with B relating to contingency which is impossible. Suppose a third class boy is there. If you get state first, if you get state first, I will give my property. That contract is impossible for performance. That is, suppose some third class boy and the borderman, that 40% boy is there. If you and enter MPC, if you get state first, I will give you my property. That agreement, this is called impossibility of performance. Giving birth to dead child, giving birth to cancer patient who is about to die within 10 days, few days, like this. That is section 34. 35 means happening of a specific. So happening of the event within the specific time. If the contingency takes place within the time, within specific time, few days or few weeks or few months, the contract is valid and enforceable. If it doesn't take place, the other party cannot bring an action for enforceability. So these are the certain agreement contingent on impossible events. So the agreements contingent on impossible events. So if the contingent contract is entered into for a contingency which take place on impossible events, then also the contract will be void. Impossibility 34, 35, 36, 34 and 36 are void contract. 35, if the contingency takes place within the time, it is valid. It doesn't take place within the time, it is not valid. These are the section 31 to 36 of Indian Contract Act under chapter 3. Chapter 3 deal with various categories of contingent contracts and their enforceability. So section 31 defines contract. Section 30, so the contingent contract is defined. It is defined under section 31 like this: a contract to do or not to do something if some event collateral to such contract does or does not happen. So contingent contract may be valid if the event takes place, if the event doesn't take place. But the thing is, the event must be collateral to that contract. What do you mean by collateral? Collateral means, suppose a man approaches the bank for loan, that the bank will insist to pledge some gold. So the pledging of the gold is collateral to the contract. Then only bank will give money. Suppose a man approaches the court for loan, housing loan. So the housing loan should be mortgaged with the bank. That house is collateral. So the contract is valid and enforceable because what is the issue which is collateral to the contract. The matter which is collateral to the contract must be fructified, otherwise not. So that is why section 31 of Indian Contract Act tells you a contract to do or not to do something if some event collateral to such contract does or does not happen. So this is about contract. So here fire insurance contract, general insurance contracts are contingent contracts. Life insurance contract also is contingent contract in certain cases. Fire insurance contract: a house is insured for 1 year for against fire. If fire takes place, house is destroyed, the insurance company will give money. If it is insured for 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs will be given. Or the insurance company thinks that house can be reconstructed with less amount, whether it can pay money or it can replace the house as per doctrine of reinstatement. So that is there. So similarly, medical insurance: if disease, if the insured gets any disease, hospitalized, and any operation or something took place, those operation expenses will be borne by the insurance company. Similarly, for insurance contracts also, there are life insurance policies also may be treated as property insurance for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, like this. Suppose a man takes a housing loan in a bank for 10 years or 5 years. So insurance company, the bank will take that flat or house as security. The bank may also insist some sureties as security. The bank may also take a life policy in the name of that money, the borrower. See, suppose a man takes some 50 lakhs loan from bank for repayable in 10 years. Then the bank will take life policy also for 5 years only. So bank wants that the person should be alive for 5 years only. If he dies in 5 years, all the premium is to be borne by the a person who is taking the loan. So the bank may also take policy against risk of earthquakes or natural calamities. For that also, the property insurance may be insisted. Some banks insist life policy on the policy holder for giving loan. Some bank also the property loan also. Suppose if the person dies within 5 years, the surety may be get. Even if surety dies, that insurance company should pay that money. Suppose the house is destroyed due to floods or earthquake, that. So the house, the money, the borrower of the house will die, house will be destroyed, bank will be alive, bank staff will be alive, is what the contention of certain bank while granting the loan. So this is the position with reference to this fire insurance contract, property insurance contract, inland transit insurance contract, etc. are the best examples of the contingent contract. So here, for contingent contract to be valid and enforceable, some conditions must be satisfied. The performance or happening of future event. At the time, the happening of event is uncertain. At the time of this thing, happening is uncertain. And future uncertain event should be correlateral to the contract. Just like mortgage or pledge, the collateral security must be there. So here, case law. Secretary of State for India versus Arathun Timber. Secretary of State for India versus Arthun is one case. In this case, what happened that the plaintiff supplied some timber to the company, Secretary of State, and the timber is to be certified and approved by the superintendent. There is an agreement between the supplier of the vendor of the timber and the government office, and he supplied. There is the condition that the timber supplied must be approved by the superintendent of that office. So that is the condition. But the superintendent did not approve the timber, and the agreement was cancelled. The plaintiff brought an action against the government, and the court said that this is a clear case of contingency. The plaintiff cannot enforce the contract. Another case is Agornath Banerjee versus Calcutta Tramways Company. In this case, railway company is one party. Defendant plaintiff is Agornath Banerjee. Defendant company is Calcutta Tramways Company. The Calcutta Tramways Company appointed took recruitment of conductors. Conductor means ticket examiner in a railway bogie. He is called conductor. Just like bus conductor, he has to check the ticket. And there is a rule that the ticket conductor must deposit some money with the bank, with the railway company. In case there is a dereliction of duties, negligence of duties, he doesn't check the passengers properly, he doesn't make account for that like this, he does not do duty properly, the deposit while giving appointment of ticket conductor, the railway company received some fixed deposit. If the ticket conductor discharges duty properly, the money will be, deposit money will be refunded. If there is any proved that if the manager of the railway gives report that there is a dereliction of duties, negligence of duties, the deposit received will not be returned back. It will be forfeited to the company. That was the rule. and it was proved that the manager certified that there is dereliction of duty on the part of this ticket conductor, and on this report the amount was forfeited. When the ticket examiner brought an action against the railway company, the court said that, the Madras High Court said that it is a clear case of contingent contract. The conductor plaintiff in this case cannot claim deposit back. So these are the events. Now, distinction between contingent contract and wagering contract. Contingent contract are valid contract. Wagering contracts are void contract. Section 30, Section 31 to 36 under Chapter 3 of Indian Contract Act lay down provisions relating to contingent contract. Section 30 speaks about wagering agreement. So, contingent contracts are valid and enforceable. Wagering agreements are void and not enforceable. So here, happening of event in wagering a contingent contract, at the time of contract uncertain, happening of the event uncertain, whereas wagering agreement, happening of the event is certain at the time of entering into contract, happening of the event is uncertain at the time of conclusion of the contract. So here the happening of event is collateral to the contract in contingent contract, but it is not collateral, it is certain, but happening of event is uncertain in wagering agreement. These are the points of distinction between wagering agreement and contingent contract. This topic may be asked as a short note. Contingent contract may be asked as short course mainly, or wagering contract also may be asked as short note. In case the question is asked as an essay question, both the topics, wagering agreement and contingent contracts, are to be explained in detail. Thank you very much, dear friends, for your patient hearing. Thanks a lot.